How's everybody doing? Nice to see you all. How's Fan Expo going? Are we enjoying?
Importantly, how are you, my friend? You're all right? Have you been to Philadelphia before? Back 25 years.
Oh,
How are you feeling
I was
back
at
then?
drama school. Yeah.
You were already auditioning, right? You were already doing stuff.
Yeah, well, I'd moved to London when I was 16 and I'd done some amateur dramatics and things like the National Youth Theatre, and I'd gotten an agent from a play I'd done in London, just an off-Broadway, kind of off the West End kind of play, I guess. And they had promised to put me out for work and things, and I had auditioned for drama school, and I was like, no, I really need this training. I felt like I really needed, an education that I would probably really enjoy in a way that maybe other aspects of education hadn't been so pleasurable for me growing up. And so I did go out on a couple of jobs, and actually the Hubbards, who cast Lord of the Rings, were maybe one of my very first meetings in London. They were casting agents, and Roz was super, super wonderful and encouraging in that meeting. And then, so I did a little bit of work before I went to drama school. I did an episode of Casualty, which is like, woo! Just the one, woo! It's like England's version of ER, if you could call it that. But in a sense, right? And then I had a sort of walk-on part in a film called Wild, which you really overly prepared every time I went into any of my meetings. Like, I learned all my lines, which is not something all actors do. I think some people read from the page, depending on their confidence. But I was always like really prepared. So I met on Faramir, and then they asked me to come back and read for Legolas, which was like, okay, yeah. And I was like, okay. And I read on tape for that, and then I didn't hear anything for I feel like it was maybe 6 or 8 weeks, because the next thing that happened was that Peter and Fran both flew over from New Zealand to take in-person meetings with the actors, and so I was called in for that, and that was cool, and I sat down with them in this very it was like an old chapel or something just off Goode Street, off Tottenham Road, so it felt kind of appropriate as a place to be meeting. And then, I was finishing drama school, and I'd had some calls to go on things I think the RSA had reached out, and they were like, oh, maybe had shown some interest, and I was saying to my agent, well, let's go, what are we waiting for? And she said, well, moment. And I remember being just super grateful, intimidated, excited, and all the feelings all at once. But it was I kind of just lived, that was the big part of my career, was through those historical epics. So it's an owl.
What is it about the
owls? I think it's the wisdom that I think comes with an owl that maybe isn't even true, or maybe they can turn their head excessively. I don't know, owls probably my spirit. I think I arrived with Billy Boyd. Billy's a sweet soul, and I just love him. But it's hard to pick, fear of not getting what we want, fear of, losing what we've got, but actually, when you just trust. And I think I learned through that show about confronting fear and trusting the process. If you really study something and work through it, you can learn to trust that things will unfold as they should, and trust that, your life is going to be that way.
This is the last one. This is the most important. Okay.
Very important. Pirate fashion or elven fits? I think we should put that over to the audience.
So let's go pirate fashion.
Elven fits? There you go.
claps, your tiny baby hands, newborn baby is very soft. Now medium claps, medium. Slap those hands together. 50% louder. Okay, now let's welcome our first guest. It's Miranda Otto. I keep it going in and ask you to stop because it's Dominic. Yeah, look at this beautiful panel. A round of applause for our guests one last time. Welcome to Philly. Dominic, I saw you last night. It was a rather late one. Did you have a good time?
It was great, but yeah, we were just saying backstage, we'd never left the convention that late before. We got back to the hotel just before midnight, like 2 minutes before midnight. But it was wicked. It's always good to be on stage and see everyone.
Years have passed since that first film, but where were you in your life? I'll start with Miranda as an actor 25 years ago, or just before that you took on the role, because you came on later. Where were you as an actor at that time?
As an actor, I'd worked mainly in Australia. I'd come out of a theatre school. I'd done a bunch of like independent films, and then I'd done a few bits and bobs in the States. I just sort of started working in America, and then this film came up, these films, and I didn't even really realize how big the job was when I was auditioning for it, because it was Peter Jackson, and I knew his kind of indie films, and I think I had it in my mind it was like just some independent films. I had no idea it was going to be so big until I got there.
I kind of like the idea of that.
The idea of like genius, brilliance gets thrown around quite a lot, quite easily.
Yeah.
I think probably in my life, the person who I've met that I would probably say must be the closest to a genius that I've met is probably he.
Wow.
The way that like his brain works is really unique. Well, you know.
My God, you didn't get one of those at home.
No, I didn't get one of those. He's also a gentleman.
Yes.
Very sweet. Actually, I remember like thinking back on it now. I kind of feel a little self-conscious about the ladies showing up, because you only had Miranda, Liv, and Kate, really. And apart from that, it was a big boys' club. And I remember thinking, when these ladies show up, we were all really quite into it. Do you know what I mean? Because we were starved of female attention. And especially like Liv, Miranda, and Kate, pretty stunning women. So I remember like looking back at it now going, oh, we're probably a little inappropriate with our attention.
Not at all.
Yeah, what did
I
you
thought
think?
you guys were all so nice
Oh,
and
good.
so welcoming and like total gentlemen. Like honestly, you set the bar high.
I'll pay you later, Miranda.
As well, and how much it's changed. For me, the first woman I watched the film was Sigourney Weaver in Alien.
Yeah, kick-ass character.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And then it was Sarah Connor. You know, it was Linda Hamilton. You know, and I loved
Yeah,
this.
absolutely. Yeah.
How do you feel the landscape has changed for actresses now in terms of the characters, the way they're written?
I definitely feel like there are a lot more physical female characters in this day and age. Like it was more different at that point. But then Peter was really specific about it at the time, that he still wanted her to be very feminine. He didn't want her to be like, you know, like super muscly kind of, super strong looking character. He very much wanted it to be about strength of spirit and strength of heart. But yeah, that's definitely changed, that landscape. Yeah, the industry's changed a lot for women in that time, I think.
Well, I mean, Star Wars is the reason I'm an actor, you know, which is amazing because I had that full circle moment of actually being on set and doing scenes with Chewie and R2D2 and C-3PO, which was amazing. There was a point where we were in this massive stage in Pinewood, and we moved from one scene to another, and all the actors walked away. But obviously, the R2 unit doesn't move. So as they all left, I had this like couple of minutes with the R2 unit where I was able to say, hey man, you were like my best friend when I was like 9 years old. Now we're here, you know? Not a bleep, nothing, didn't say anything. No response. So Star Wars was like massive for me. I remember being a kid and seeing Empire Strikes Back actually first before Star Wars, and then the weekend after that, seeing Indiana Jones, seeing Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I was genuinely confused. I asked my dad, I was like, that's the same man, but how come he's a spaceman and now he's an explorer, archaeologist? I didn't understand it. And my dad was like, oh, well, those are films, he's playing a part, he puts on a costume, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that, you know? It just kind of locked in when I was a kid. And then growing up, I guess a lot of things that all actors love, you know, Taxi Driver, Godfather, Apocalypse Now, Raging Bull. I'm a massive De Niro fan. I feel like...
Please read out the question you were answering.
You're going into battle. What's your weapon of choice? A sword, a spear, a bow, or a big old club? Ooh.
It's your weapon of choice. I think
Well, it's not a bow and it's not a spear.
It's not a club, is it?
Could be, it's either a sword or a club, you know, like something about the club is also really appealing.
Feels good.
Well, because like I don't have to be specific. I feel like with a sword, I've got to know what I'm doing, but with the club, I can just kind of go for it.
Oh, you can just rage.
Yeah, I can just like, you know, anything's gonna work. Like just pure rage will see me through, and zero technique. I'm going for the club.
Miranda, yes.
I accidentally took two there.
Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna put that one out. I'll put that one back. Miranda, I love you. I didn't think when I was writing these in my pajamas this morning you would say, all right. Go for it.
Okay. Well, this is similar to what we just touched upon, really. Is there a place in the world where you felt truly at home?
Yeah, all right.
So for me, it's the jungles of Peru. I've been going to Peru since. Thank you. I've been going to Peru since my late 20s. About an hour and a half into the jungle in a place called Iquitos. And it has my favorite sounds in nature, my favorite animals, some of my favorite people, and my favorite things to do, which is basically like play Scrabble and chess in the daytime and read books, and then at night time kind of commune with nature, drink plant medicine. So that's where I feel the most kind of on brand for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Where have you felt most at home, Miranda?
You know,
Slap those hands together! 70% louder! 70% louder! One for Billy Boy! Don't stop, it's Elijah Please take a seat. There you go.
I'm experiencing a little bit of deja vu.
So am I. Except-
Weren't we just here? Oh, yeah, we did.
I swapped seats so that we wouldn't think it was last night.
Nice.
I'm quite sandwiched that people have spoken. A hot dog is a
Well,
sandwich.
why don't we ask the people here? They'll know.
All right.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Wait! Is it? We'll have the yeas first. It is a sandwich. It is not a sandwich.
They have spoken.
It's not a sandwich.
I love your lemon tie. Thank you.
Look at the lemon tie. He's
Your
really
lemon
rich.
tie is fantastic.
Well, it's a fabulous tie. Actually, one of my sons was grumbling about life the other day, and I saw this tie, and I thought,
The famous rivalry is Pats
I
and
once
Gino.
rode a lovely filly, but her name wasn't Cheesecake.
Like working with these guys on Lord of the Rings. I want your perspective.
No cast that I've ever worked with has been more delightful than these. They got on so well. And that is not universally true of actors when they have to work together for months and months and years. They just got on like a house on fire. Everybody in that cast was marvelous. There was one grumpy old fart who made his life pretty miserable and everybody else's, and unfortunately I wore his shoes every day.
Kind of disperses in their anguish. Frodo walks super far away from everybody. And there's this bit where he turns around and he's clearly just shaken to the core about what has just happened. And his note was, when you turn around, I want the look on your face due to the emotion that you're experiencing to scare the audience. That was his note. And I thought, okay. His note was, I want the look on your face and the emotion that you're going through to scare the audience. Yeah. And that was a lot for me to sort of chew on, and it made sense to me. And that's what I did. That's what I did.
How fun.
It was working when I was a kid. Someone once told me you can always do better. And I took that to heart. It's a very simple concept, but that idea of, you know, you've done your best, but you can, it keeps you striving, you know, and never resting, which I think is a good place to be in any creative endeavor, is to constantly be striving for the next
Push yourself.
thing. Yeah, to push yourself.
We do just have one more, so...
Keep it safe.
What'd you say?
Elijah Wood, 100%.
Excellent.
Could tell him anything.
Just...
Yeah,
He would, yeah.
I'm like a vault,
Yeah.
absolute vault.
That's good.